Hello, my name is Lawrence Tunnicliffe from Fertile Heart. I live in Staffordshire, England with my wife and 2 children. Today I would like to introduce you to A Fertile Heart. A Fertile Heart is a new RSHE created specifically for Christian education. RSHE is the new government abbreviation for Relationships, Health and Sex Education. Today I would like to tell you how A Fertile Heart was created. In late 2016, a retired Catholic primary school teacher from my local church approached me asking for help with a publishing project. She had been helping a professor she knew to prepare his thesis and commented to him, "I wish that this had been taught when I was at school, and that all children should be taught this." Having worked in design, print and distribution for over 20 years, I had already published a variety of books and was interested in working in a specialist sector. We formed a team of experts, including primary and secondary school teachers, the professor and myself. Together we created 80 lessons, 10 per year for school years 4 to 11, 8 to 16-year-olds. Shortly after this, His Grace, Archbishop George Stack of Cardiff, who had seen samples, provided us with 6 pages of positive feedback, his public endorsement and the foreword to the books. Eventually he approved A Fertile Heart to be taught in all schools in the Archdiocese of Cardiff. I will now hand you over to Charlotte to tell you more about our journey.
This is the introduction for A Fertile Heart, which is a PSHE programme designed to enhance your existing provision of RSE, now commonly referred to as RSHE, Relationships and Sex and Health Education, to be taught at Key Stage 2 to Key Stage 4, which covers 8 through to 16-year-olds. Our mission is to develop children's understanding of the relationships they have, their place in today's world, and to help them succeed in what they choose to do because of who they are. We do this by providing an inspirational and dynamic programme for the spiritual, moral, emotional and intellectual development of young people, enabling them to appreciate and understand life-enriching relationships. The government has introduced legislation that means all schools must teach this subject by September 2020. Relationship education for primary education and relationship and sex education for secondary education. The challenge is that teachers don't have enough spare time to plan, find resources for and create 80 lessons in a subject they're not trained to teach, while ensuring they conform to government guidelines before September 2020. Fertile Heart is a Christian curriculum to develop children as whole persons shaped for today's world. So what does that mean? We're not in the business of helping develop children to just pass exams. We are in the business of developing strong morals and virtues in children who know their place in the world, understand the relationships they have, and can therefore be successful because of who they are. A core virtue within Fertile Heart is appropriate vulnerability. An example of being appropriately vulnerable would be when you first say "I love you" to someone you care about. They may or may not say that they love you as well. At that moment, you are appropriately vulnerable to your relationship changing. The graphic shows the person in the middle, then your first relationships, which are usually with your family, and then your friends as you join school or playgroup, then acquaintances and people you meet, helpers, and lastly strangers. To be appropriately vulnerable, you need to understand it is not right to go straight to a stranger without properly understanding how vulnerable you are. For instance, reaching out on Facebook to someone you've just met and then meeting up with them. It's not meeting a friend, it is meeting a stranger and therefore can be dangerous. And we believe this model can help teachers and parents explain to children about the real meaning of consent in an age-appropriate way. The second virtue that I'd like to explain is receiving and giving creative love. This is at the heart of our whole syllabus, giving and receiving through fertility in what we do, not biological fertility. To be fertile is to give of yourself, like fertile soil. We start with an initiator. One person initiates creative love. In this example, let's say a mother initiates love with her child. The child receives that love and then naturally responds to that love, then gives that love back to the mother. The mother then receives the love from her child, responds to the love and passes it again back to her child. The church vision of that love grows and grows forever within that mother-child relationship, as is the church's vision for marriage. This message is developed throughout the syllabus and becomes the core message in defining all authentic relationships, as well as the one we eventually use for giving and receiving sexual love between spouses in years 9 and 10. Fertile Heart addresses challenging subjects in a sensitive way. There are sensitive topics within modules across the programme as a whole. A few examples are sexting and degrading images, teaching children that sharing inappropriate images with each other is wrong and that there is always a victim when that is done. This kind of activity is being fuelled by a massive rise in addiction to internet pornography among young people and, as the DfE rightly says, cannot be ignored. Bullying is another example. Bullying has always been a problem in schools, but now cyberbullying is a different thing because it gives people an anonymity to hide what they're doing and they can feel that they're not responsible for their actions. Love and ego life and the me culture we live in today. What about me? What do I get? Taking pictures and selfies. It's important for children to understand that giving is the greatest gift and we receive great joy from giving to others. As children give love to their friends and their friendship groups, they start to understand that it's not just about me. Christian schools are good at this. They teach children a lot about charity and helping people in need in society. Fertile Heart provides all of the resources required to train teachers and to deliver an authentic and dynamic RSHE curriculum through PHSE. We provide a step-by-step guide to each lesson, which we call modules. Each module is on a 2-page spread, starting with a learning objective and success criteria, then key steps through the module, finishing with key points and a summary. There are also suggested activities and suggested resources for each module. Key Stage 2 includes subjects such as happiness, freedom and tolerance, faith and evolution, science and Christianity. Yes, these are demanding subjects for children from 8 to 11 years old to grasp at first, but as teachers and pupils explore the topics together, their understanding deepens and they rise to the challenge of using a broader vocabulary. The teacher will need to interact with the children and tease the learning out of them in order to take them on that creative journey. Some examples of Key Stage 3 subjects are nature or nurture, parents and authority, the fertile person. These are just a few of the lessons. There are 10 per year, and in Year 9 we start to move towards the sex education in adolescence and personhood and sexuality. Key Stage 4, Year 10, is where we deliver the sex education with modules titled Sex as a Communion of Love, Sexuality and a Relationship with God. Here we explain that sexual intercourse is more than just a pleasurable act we can engage in, but if during sex you engage your mind and your soul, it becomes a fertile act of bonding between two people expressing a communion of love. Year 11 initially recaps Year 10 before moving towards more theological subjects, courage of fortitude, forgiveness, temperance, prudence. Big subjects, I'm sure you'll agree. And indeed, the CES has just published new guidance on education in key virtues. The supporting materials we supply with the books are web links to many YouTube videos. These are available online as short links, so teachers won't have to type them in and can just be clicked on. As this is YouTube, we check every month that all videos are still working, and if one has been taken down, we will replace it with something suitable without changing the short link in place. We have designed 80 PowerPoints to walk teachers through the lesson. The book gives the plan and subject matter, and then the PowerPoint walks the teacher and the class through the lesson, especially with the additional teacher notes on each slide, giving detailed explanations to help non-faith and non-specialist teachers. There are supporting DVDs. So if the school is in a poor broadband area, particularly for Key Stage 2 teachers, there are example lessons to play, short films and short PowerPoints and prayers that the teachers can just use to demonstrate to the class. The costs are based on a 3-year commitment between the school and us. Key Stage 2 are teacher books at £35 each, so you'll only need 2 or 3 or 4 copies depending on the size of the school. Key Stage 3 and 4 are class sets, which teachers will hand out as textbooks. The children won't write in them. They will study the lesson with the teacher, making notes in their workbooks, and then hand the textbooks in at the end of the lesson. Key Stage 3 and 4 books are £15 a copy. We allow schools to spread the total cost of the books over 3 years, one payment per year. The web resources are subscription-based. For Key Stage 2, they are free in the first year and then £100 per year after that. Key Stage 3 or 4, the web resources are free for the 3-year period and then £500 a year after that, whether you take 1 or 2 of those key stages. Now, we've been fortunate to have the patronage of His Grace Archbishop George Stack of Cardiff, who, after reading the books, gave us 6 pages of notes containing positive feedback. He has subsequently written a foreword for us and recommended our resources to all schools in the Cardiff Diocese. These 43 primary schools and 13 secondary schools have been using the resources since September 2018. What are we working on currently? Well, we are scripting and videoing testimonials from head teachers, department heads, RE departments and teachers who are delivering the syllabus. We're developing a large customer management website to contain all our resources. The teacher resources are all written and 50% of them have been designed. We are currently in the process of implementing our marketing plan to get our message out. Pupil and parent resources will be started as soon as the teacher resources are completed. Curriculum purchase is all set up and done online, and the teacher training and subscription management is in progress. Translating into French, Spanish, Italian and German needs adding to our list as well. We would like to raise £150,000 from either investors or a partnership to allow us to develop the online resources and ramp up our digital marketing activities. Thus far, we have received donations totalling £20,000 from kind donors who buy into our mission to help young people. We're also looking for patrons, advocates and referrals to anyone inside or outside the Catholic and Christian society to help us move forward, and we will consider any proposal.